welcome. I'm Anukriti from the Logical Indian team, and I'm here today with Vishal Chawla, who is a tech journalist, and he will be making us understand what the new WhatsApp policy is and how it's problematic for us to share our data with Facebook. So we'll begin. Thank you so much for joining, Vishal. My first question for you
Thanks,
is
Anukriti.
my first question
Yeah.
is why this sudden demand from WhatsApp to either share our data with Facebook or uninstall the WhatsApp? I mean, uninstall the app itself, and how problematic it is for us to share our data with Facebook.
Yeah. So I think that it's not a demand as, in particular. I think that Facebook is obviously becoming very clear about how it shares its, the personal data of its users. And I think they've been really clear. I think because obviously they're going, they've faced quite a backlash over the years, and there have been antitrust laws against the company. So they want to make sure that they are very clear and transparent to their users and let them know, that they're using their data. Usually, tech companies are very sneaky about their privacy policies, and people just don't, read them usually. I think so. Facebook has at least, made it transparent. So I think props to them for that. And yeah, I mean, there are certain things about the privacy policy which people are concerned.
And what all data will the WhatsApp will be sharing with Facebook? What all the data that we are talking about here?
So I think we need to make it clear that for all the personal communication that we do on WhatsApp, it's completely encrypted end to end. So that is not going to change. I think the change that is happening in the recent privacy policy update, it relates to business accounts, as in WhatsApp has is focusing on helping businesses set up their shops within WhatsApp. And I think so the new privacy policy would obviously relate to that, as in the data from those business accounts, from the chats within those business accounts, that could be hosted back to Facebook. So I think that is where the privacy policy, all the latest update is about. It's not relating to the personal communication that we have with our friends and families. So I think that is a distinction which people need to realize, because I think there has been kind of an overreaction to the about their privacy, about their data privacy, and that's a good thing, obviously.
Okay, so how about my image and the videos that I share on WhatsApp? Will that also be shared with Facebook?
No, I mean, as I said, all the personal communication, including all the media that you share on WhatsApp, will remain encrypted end to end, and Facebook has no access to it. I mean, I think it's pretty strong encryption. However, all those chats that happen through business accounts, let's say you make a purchase on a shop set up within WhatsApp, because that is going to happen soon. WhatsApp has also started its payment services as well. So let's say you do some e-commerce activity within WhatsApp, that will not be encrypted. Okay, and that data could be used even to integrate it with Facebook. And so you just need to understand that differentiation. Other than that, all the media that you share within WhatsApp, I think that is going to remain encrypted end to end. And by that, we mean that even Facebook or WhatsApp cannot access it. Only the sender and the receiver would have access to that.
So whatever data that is being shared, how problematic it is for us.
So, you need to, I mean, we all know that Facebook has, this different properties that it has. Apart from Facebook is WhatsApp, obviously, and there's Instagram as well. So if you go back, to a New York Times article in January 2019, which says that Zuckerberg plans to integrate all these three platforms. And why not? I mean, that's the best bang on the buck for them, because that's how they can get the best value out of their ecosystem. Their ecosystem needs to be connected so that they drive the most revenue for the shareholders. So I think that has been the plan for many years. And I think the issue of data privacy is, I mean, important, and Facebook has had, a pretty bad history on how they manage their data of their users. I mean, with the Cambridge Analytica scandal that happened, we got to know that third parties were basically harvesting the data of millions, billions of users for political campaigns. So Facebook has had a bad history with how they manage their data, and obviously the concern with the recent privacy policy is that more data is now going to go to Facebook through WhatsApp. So I think that is the issue, and Facebook has been, people have protested in a way, as you saw, with the flock to on other messaging apps like Signal, Telegram. So that is the thing, that people are just a little bit worried about how their data could be shared with from WhatsApp to Facebook, but I don't think that relates much to personal communication yet. Yeah, but however, we need to understand that WhatsApp still would collect your, you know. While it will not have access to the direct communication, it will collect metadata, for example, your IP address, your location, your name, and that data it is still collecting. So yeah, people are a little worried about that part.
But we are already sharing these data with Messenger and Instagram chats and everything that is already being shared. So how it is any different from those data?
No, I mean, I think if you look at Signal, for example, other messaging apps, Signal only collects the data related to your contacts. That's it. It does not collect your location history, for example. It does not collect your IP address. However, WhatsApp does collect it. So that's, again, people are a little bit concerned about it. But then, yes, you do give your address and your other metadata, your location, to other apps, from other tech companies. So it's about your preference. What kind of a messenger do you want to use? Do you want to use a messenger that tracks your location, tracks your IP address, or not? If you don't want that to happen, use other messaging apps like Signal, Telegram, as you mentioned. Yeah,
But won't
otherwise
it
you
be,
can stick to WhatsApp.
yeah, but won't
Hmm.
it be a problem for us? Say I have WhatsApp and the other person doesn't. And if I have Signal and the other
Hmm.
person is not using that particular app,
Yeah.
so won't that be difficult for people to communicate?
Yeah, that is the thing about Facebook has created these very valuable platforms that have great network effects. Billions of people are on these platforms, and so yeah, that is a big thing with all social media. That, and that is the challenge that people have if they want to move to other messaging platforms, that they don't have those networks. The network effect is not there yet on other messaging apps. I think WhatsApp has kind of acquired that or captured that market. So it's obviously going to be difficult for people to move to other platforms, and it might take time. But at the same time, I think WhatsApp will still remain a large chunk of its users. I mean, as of now, I don't think that people are going to flock to other apps.
So what are the features that WhatsApp has and Signal doesn't?
The features that WhatsApp has and Signal doesn't know. I mean, the similar features are there. I mean, so if you look at the history of WhatsApp, the co-founder of WhatsApp is the same, Brian Acton, who he developed WhatsApp, and then it was sold to Facebook, and then he also invented Signal. So the features are exactly the same almost. The user experience is same. It's just that Signal is more focused on user privacy. WhatsApp is definitely good for encryption. It's still end-to-end encrypted, but people might be a little concerned about Facebook part. That's the thing.
Also, this updated policy is not applicable in Europe. It's only
Yeah.
applicable in different countries, but not in Europe. Why is that?
Yeah, so I think Europe has a very advanced privacy laws at the moment, the GDPR, as we know it, which it implemented in 2018. Those are very strict rules, and they enforce tech companies to properly maintain and protect the personal data of users, no matter where they live. So obviously, with WhatsApp, as you know, it collects some personal metadata like, location, IP address, and other personal identifiers within the app. So and so that's why they didn't introduce the latest privacy update there in Europe, because for that to happen, they need to make sure that they get direct consent from users, individual consent from each of the users. So that's the thing, I think. And also there are other restrictions in Europe, as in you have to maintain the personal data for only a set amount of time, after which it should be deleted, right? So that those kind of rules are not there in India and other parts of the world. It's only, I think, the EU and California which recently passed very strict privacy laws. Hopefully in India as well, there is a data privacy bill which is pending to become a law. So hopefully in the coming year or two we might see a similar data privacy law coming in force in India, which would try to maintain data privacy for over a billion users, yeah, across different tech companies, not just with Facebook or WhatsApp. Yeah. Customer insights, we mean personalization. So a lot of the tech companies are focused on creating personalized products, and they have AI models running which collect a lot of the data and create these insights, as you say. And so their data plays a big role. So they're going to provide this service to their to small business owners, help them create insights on these shops, as you mentioned, for all the different services that are hosted on Facebook. So yeah, there'll be a lot of integration with that data insights, as you mentioned.
Also, how will Facebook benefit from taking data from us? From business
Mhm.
accounts, I can understand, but from people who are just using it for communication purposes, how will Facebook benefit from that?
So tech companies take personal data for obviously improving their services, to create personalized services. They collect all this data and put it into AI models, and that sort of improves the services. And so it's not just Facebook or WhatsApp. A lot of the most of the tech companies have AI inbuilt into their services, or data analytics built into their services. So it's not just Facebook. These companies benefit obviously by taking in the data. Data is everything, right? Data helps you improve your service, monetize your service, improve the customer experience. So that is what these companies always look for. The problem arises when this personal data gets misused. On one hand, it is used to obviously improve the service, create new wonderful features that are good, that are obviously good for us. But at the same time, if this data gets misused, if a hacker gains access to the data, by hacking into the systems, networks, databases, then that is where the issue is, because that data can be misused, against you. So that is a big issue, because that is what we saw, in the Cambridge Analytica scandal as well. Sure. I mean, if you want to use WhatsApp just for personal communication, I think it's still the same. Nothing has changed there, right? However, if you want to interact account, if you have a business account there, that data will not be encrypted. So a lot of Indian companies are evaluating whether they should continue using WhatsApp Business. I think that has been there in the recent news as well, that companies are looking whether they want to continue using WhatsApp Business or not, because that is not going to be end-to-end encrypted like personal communication. So for personal use, I think it's still the same. I think it's still a very good app to use. And if you don't care about privacy, there are many people who don't care about data privacy, so they'll continue to use it, right? I mean, so what I would say is that, I mean, it's a good thing what we're seeing recently, that people are becoming more aware about data privacy, but it just doesn't end, or is just not limited to WhatsApp, right? What about, if you're concerned about data being shared with Facebook, then what about using Instagram as well? Because it's the same privacy policy. In fact, your personal data would be collected in a bigger way if you're using Instagram, or if you're using Facebook. So WhatsApp is still very encrypted. It's a very good encrypted app. But what about Instagram, What about Facebook? I think these platforms run by Facebook, they do offer you, a choice whether you want to opt out of targeted advertisements. So the settings are there. It's up to you. Because they will still collect data for targeted advertisements on these platforms, right? Whatever application you use, it will still be there. So it's, I think people should obviously read up more about it if they are really concerned about their data privacy. It's not just limited to WhatsApp, is what I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vishal, for sharing this information.
Yeah.
And we will,
Thanks
yes.
for having me, Anukriti. Thank you.
Bye bye. Have a good day.